Advice for sister missionaries. I probably spent $50 on clothes total getting ready for my mission. I talked with a sister who had just come back from Vanuatu about a month after I received my mission call, and she told me to not spend a lot of money on my clothes, and I said okay. So I went over to the DI and to Savers, and I would try on skirts, and the way I decided if I wanted to keep it or not was if I could sit crisscross applesauce on the ground without showing anything in the skirt. And so I got all my skirts from the DI. All my shirts were shirts like this, just kind of t-shirts, preferably not gray, because you will see the sweat marks, and you sweat a lot every single day. So just be mindful of that when you're thinking of clothes to wear. I never wore makeup on my mission because I just sweated it off. And to me, it almost felt like I constantly had a shower head over my head, and it was dripping water constantly. You just sweat all the time. By the end of the day, you're drenched. So don't spend too much money on your clothes. That would be some advice I would give to you. The number one thing that I would spend money on are shoes. I wore Teva flip-flops, and I had Keen sandals and some Chacos, but I didn't really wear those. Some sisters did. I chose not to because every single house you go into, you do have to remove your shoes. And so if you're wearing sandals like that, it's annoying to reach down and unstrap them and then strap them back up. And so having flip-flops is really nice. And Tevas were great because they molded to your feet, so they did provide some arch support, and they were easy to take on and off. And by the end of your mission, you will have a really nice flip-flop tan line. We are allowed to wear backpacks in that mission. I chose not to. I wore a shoulder bag, and that was great. I recommend just bringing a bag with a water bottle holder in it because you do want to carry water around with you throughout the day. I brought tampons for my whole entire mission. That was something that the sister that I talked to before my mission told me to do. She said to bring deodorant and tampons. And they had both things in Vanuatu. They did have deodorant. It is the watery kind though. It's like a ball on the top, and so I'm glad I brought my own deodorant. If you want the solid deodorant, bring your own for 18 months. Tampons, they are a little different, but they still work fine, and the mission will provide them for you. I am, however, glad that I brought my own because I do prefer the certain brand that I like, and so that was something that I'm glad I did. But like I said, I wouldn't bring a straightener, I wouldn't bring a curling iron, I wouldn't bring a hairdryer because you most likely will not be using them. I wore my hair up in a ponytail every single day. Like I said, no makeup, no jewelry, just very, very simple. If you do dress up, you feel out of place, and especially I think because I was white and everyone else was black, I already stood out so much, and I already got so much attention for the color of my skin that I wanted to take the attention away from me in every way possible, and to dress as simply as you can, I think really makes a difference. It helps the people recognize that you aren't above them just because you're from America or another country, but that you are just like them. In the eyes of Heavenly Father, you are His children. And that was one way I felt like I could show that, is through the simpleness of my clothing and the way I presented myself. One thing that I think is very important as you prepare to serve in the Vanuatu Port Vila mission, especially in Vanuatu. I'm not sure about New Caledonia or the Solomon Islands because I did not serve there. I do know that a lot of the missionaries in New Caledonia have cars. In Vanuatu, the sister training leaders, the assistants to the presidents, and the zone leaders are the only ones with, and then the office elders and the travel elders have cars. Everyone else walks. So I only drove for about 4 weeks of my mission, and the rest of the time I walked. And so to get into good shape is extremely important. I had one sister that I trained after her just coming out into the mission field, and she was not in shape. And walking for 10, 15 miles a day killed her. She would come home, her feet were covered with blisters. She was completely exhausted. And it was very hard, especially with everything else that you have to deal with coming out on the mission, trying to learn the language, adjust to the culture, the time change, the food, the other missionaries, the everything. You don't want to have to deal with the exhaustion that comes if you aren't in good shape already. I would recommend running maybe to get ready, or just walking so that you feel like you can do that every single day. And you do get used to it, but if you aren't doing that before your mission, it is extremely hard to adjust, along with everything else that comes with coming on a mission. Another thing that comes with preparing for sisters as you're getting ready to serve your mission, I would bring your garments for the whole entire 18 months. So probably maybe 20 pairs of garments, because you can't buy garments in Vanuatu. They have them for the members, but they are a discounted price, and because they're a discounted price, they don't want missionaries to buy them because they're such a limited supply. They want the members to be able to have access to them. So bring your garments with you, and they will wear out, so you do need to have new ones to bring as well. The mosquitoes in Vanuatu can give you malaria. Malaria is prevalent to the area. And even though I did put on mosquito spray for the first probably month I was there, I was getting bitten constantly. And so the mission office will give you medicine, or you will get it at the MTC, and you can take that. I would recommend taking it for the first month or so. However, it does make your skin extremely sensitive to the sun. So I was very, very red all the time. But after about a month, the mosquitoes stopped biting my legs. It was quite weird. And so I didn't have a problem with mosquito bites after that. When you do have to scratch your legs, I would take a brush and brush it. That way you're not getting them, you're not opening sores on your legs, because they will get infected with everything that is in the air and in the environment that you're in. As far as sunscreen goes, I brought tons and tons of sunscreen. I put on sunscreen probably 2 days my whole entire mission. You put the sunscreen on, you let it soak in, and then you leave, and within about 10 minutes, all that sunscreen is running down your face with sweat, and it's getting in your eyes, and it's getting all over your clothes, and it's dripping off of you, and it just makes a mess. And so I know there's the big scare with skin cancer and everything, and in my family, skin cancer is very common, and so that was something I was worried about, but I was checked for when I came back, and I don't have any problems with it, but it is hard because you want to protect yourself, but it's hard to keep it on your body. You are allowed to wear hats though, so that is one option if you like to wear hats. In Vanuatu, I always felt very safe. I never, ever felt threatened. The people are very, very kind, very loving, very generous. They love you. They want you there. They want to help you in any way possible. And I never felt threatened. I never felt like there was any reason for me to be scared. Sisters are required to be in by dark, which is about, depending on the time of year, between 5 or 7. And so that definitely helps with preventing things from happening while it's dark outside. One of the challenges that you face as a missionary there when it comes to teaching people is the word of wisdom. There is a root called kava, and it kind of numbs your mouth and numbs your mind. And so when you do drink kava, you just want to sit there, almost like you're half asleep. I guess that's what how I would explain it. But this is against the word of wisdom, and so it is something you have to work with people and their addictions. Alcohol is another big one, and then marijuana is becoming big as well. And another big one is, of course, the law of chastity. That's something I think missionaries struggle with in any area of the world. But in Vanuatu, everybody, you don't really know who's family because everybody just kind of lives together in a big yard. They'll say, oh, you'll ask one person, oh, this is my mama. And then you ask them who they are and they say, oh, this is my sister's nephew. Like, everybody's just kind of family. They all consider everybody family. And so with everybody living together, things do happen and the law of chastity does become a problem. So that is a big one to talk about.